Hello, horror fans. It's day 3 of FrightFest. I don't think you're ready for this, are you?
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
No spoilers, please.
Apart from the fact it's about a book of monsters.
Monsters, yeah.
And there are lots of monsters in it. And it's funny.
It's a story where kick-ass women kill a load of monsters.
Yeah, it's a coming-of-age story.
Yeah.
Monsters crash an 18-year-old's birthday party, and we're there to get in their way.
Evil Dead 2, Reanimator, The Thing. So yeah, it's jam-packed with references. The amount of people that came up to me after the screening to say, oh, I got that bit, and no one's got all of them yet, so we'll see.
It was wonderful to see what the team who created the special effects and the puppets produced. Like, it was just absolutely crazy. You're working with absolute pros, and to actually be able to work off something and to have something visually there is, that's a rarity.
The Kickstarter supporters chose the monsters.
Yeah.
I think made it absolutely unique.
Really cool.
They also got to choose whether you lived and died.
Oh, so that could also be down to you.
Like, thanks to FrightFest, we sold out the screening, which was amazing for us on like a Discovery Screen film. And yeah, we picked up a distribution deal here as well, and it's all been great.
Because originally it was actually a straight couple, wasn't it? And you turned it into like a lesbian couple.
Yeah, it was, because I wrote the role of the psychopath for a male actor friend of mine who I've worked with in the past, who I always thought would be the next Patrick Bateman if he had that role. So I tried to construct a role for him, but at the time it looked like an unfortunate thing because he booked a year-long television series and he couldn't do the movie. But it actually allowed me to revisit kind of this notion that I had when I was writing it, that I threw away because I was so focused on writing this role for him. And the notion was, wow, this would potentially be a lot more interesting, a lot more fresh if it were from a female perspective.
I directed Sequence Break, which played here last year. I was in Beyond the Gates, which was here a couple years ago. And I'm here this year with Dementia Part 2, which is the wildest of all of them.
Something a little bit strange about it.
To say the least.
An ex-convict who encounters an old lady that seems to have dementia but also has black bile coming out of her mouth.
She's very lonely and her house is falling down around her.
There's a lot of problems, and as the movie goes on, they just continue to escalate, and it turns out to be something much worse than dementia.
This movie is better than it has any right to be.
Because the movie was made very quickly as part of a challenge for another film festival.
I had to start writing it on day 1 and then have it completely ready to screen by day 30. So it was 1 month. A big challenge, but super fun and a total blast to put together.
Oh my goodness, that sounds like a massive stress ball.
It was. It was a massive stress ball.
So what attracted you to the story?
I'd had my mother's best friend when she was 13 had been dragged away off the street, literally screaming, into one of these places, 13 years of age, never to be seen again. So I'd heard that story from a young age and how sad that was and how scary it was that could happen in plain view. I'd always been interested. I'd seen, obviously, the film The Magdalene Sisters, but I'd done a lot of research myself. I worked in TV many moons ago and had spent some time researching a documentary that never ended up happening for reasons that these things don't, about Magdalene Laundries, women who'd been in these places and also people who'd been born there and were trying to find their mothers and really trying to seek them out from America and further afield. And it just seemed like it was a really good backdrop.
I mean, we did the sort of tried and tested route of, one space, a small cast, and then trying to milk that for all it's worth. And in a lot of ways, we tried to scale down some of the bigger set pieces you'd see in other movies. So we've still got like a car chase, but that's scale electric cars, and the crashes are in miniature and things like that. So kind of wanted to create a sense of scale and pace and excitement, but doing that in a kind of real microcosm way, and I hope people like it. It's a strange beast.
I don't want to spoil too much information, but it will get messy with a giant in a horror movie.
I didn't know what to expect, actually. I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
Okay.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you happy with the result?
Oh, this is way too early to ask me if I'm happy.
With a mixture of drugs and raving and partying and guts and gore and love stories and mental health awareness.
An undercover cop, a scientist, an OCD germ freak.
Germs and blood and bodily secretions. I love that word, secretions.
Well, I mean, what can go wrong?
What could go wrong? It sounds like a cocktail for disaster.
Recipe for disaster. It's a huge recipe for disaster.
I'm looking forward to it, especially the IMAX screen is going to be interesting because, you know, our puppets' heads are like this big. So your thumbprints are going to look like, you know, King Kong's been having a go on them or something.
Is it based on anyone in particular, looks-wise? Yourself, obviously?
Not really, and definitely not Johnny Bravo, because I came up with this 10 years before Johnny Bravo, but everyone says, oh, it's a bit like Johnny Bravo, but, you know, it's the blonde hair and everything. He's just an amalgamation, really, of, like, square-jawed action heroes and things of that era, you know.